This video is brought to you by LogRocket, the front-end performance monitor that records videos of user sessions along with logs and network data, surfacing problems and revealing the root cause of every bug. Try it today at logrocket.com/YT.
Hey developers, in this lesson we will create a Tinder-like application for furniture in React Native. This is the final output of this lesson. We will have a stack of cards that you can swipe left or right, and we will also display the title of and the price of each item, and two buttons at the bottom that will trigger the imperative methods to either swipe left or right. To replicate the Tinder effect, we'll be using React Native Deck Swiper, which is an open source library by Alex Brilliant. I'll provide all the links in the description so you can follow up with them. And we'll take a look at how we can trigger the imperative methods such as swipe left and swipe right by pressing those two buttons at the bottom, how we can style the overlay labels that will appear on swipe, and how we can create this nice stack effect here. For the animation of the item details, such as title and price in our case, we'll be using React Native Reanimated, more particular the transition API, so we can animate the mounting and unmounting of the component itself. Last, React Native vector icons to create those icon buttons here, plus the diamond that's visible as a background. Alright, so I'm here in VS Code and I already have set it up a React Native project by using Expo, and I would like to go to the terminal and start by adding the necessary dependencies for this tutorial. And we'll be using React Native Deck Swiper and React Native View Overflow, which is a dependency of React Native Deck Swiper, React Native Reanimated, and Expo vector icons. Let's add those dependencies. Let me start by importing the swiper from React Native Deck Swiper. Here in the render method, I would like to render the swiper. For it, I'll be using the cards. So this is the list of cards that you would like to display, or the data, and we also need to specify the card index, which is the starting point of the card, and the render card method. And for the cards, I'll be using some data that I've already grabbed from the IKEA website. And there is this script that will scrape all the pages and will output this collection of items that will have an ID, a price, a name, and an image URI. Let me also import data. For the cards, I would like to use the data card index. I would like to create a state index and also the set index from React useState, and we will start from 0 and also pass index. For the render card, we will get the card that's visible from the swiper component, and we would like to render the card and also pass the card itself. Create the card component here, return a view, and inside this view we will have an image with a source of URI card image. We'll also apply a style card image, apply a different style for the view itself, card. Don't forget to import the image from React Native. Let's create the styles here, card and also the card image. Card image is gonna have width of 160. We'll apply flex 1 and resize mode of contain. For the card, border radius of 8, shadow radius of 25, shadow color black, shadow opacity of 0.08, shadow offset width of 0, height of 0, justify the content to the center, and also line items center, background color of white. This is the card that will be rendered for us, but I would like to shrink it down, so I think that flex 0.45 is gonna take almost half of the screen here. In order to make this component work with swiping, we would like to modify the index whenever the user is gonna swipe, right? And the swiper component exposes a method called onSwiped, and create this method here to set the index to index +1, let's say, right? And whenever now we swipe, you see we will increase the index and the next card will pop up. Now, in order to create this stack effect, we will need to specify a couple of props to the swiper component here. So the first is the stack size, how many items we would like to display on top of each other. In our case, we would like 4, and the stack scale 10, and then the stack separation 14. This will create this nice effect of the items where the stack separation is the spacing between each item, and also the stack scale, how much is gonna shrink the item in percentage. As you can see now, we can also swipe to the bottom and top, and we would like to disable those. And to do that, we can specify disable top swipe and disable bottom swipe. Now you cannot swipe to the bottom and only to the left and right. As you can see, nothing it's visible on the screen, and we need to inform the user whenever it's swiping left or right. And to do that, we need to style the overlay labels. The overlay labels, it's a property that we can send to the swiper component, and here we will have a left and a right. But if you're using the bottom and the top, you can also specify here the bottom and top. But in our case, we'll only need the left and right, so I'll remove the bottom and the top. And for the left, I would like to say nope as a title. And for the style, we can pass here different style properties for the label and also for the wrapper. For the label, we would like to have a background color of red. I think now it's time to create some colors constant here. So colors, it's equal to red EC2379, blue 0070FF, gray, black, white. Let's use those colors instead of hard-coded ones. So colors.red, colors.white, colors.black, colors.white. Back to the label styling. So only the background color and the color of the button, and we would like to set a font size 24. For the wrapper, we would like to align it. When you swipe it to the left, we would like to place it to the top right corner. So we need to specify the flex direction, column, align, item, flex end, justify the content to the flex start. I see here a typo, it's overlay labels. And now hit save. And when you swipe on the left, you'll see the nope, right? And let's give this a little bit of room here. So margin top is gonna be 20, margin left is 20. So it's gonna have just a little padding around. Let's apply the same to the right. Label right is gonna be like. The color is gonna be blue. Color font size, it's okay. And for the wrapper, we would like to set it to the flex start. So when you swipe to the right, it's gonna be top left corner. So flex start, then margin left is gonna be 20. And it's gonna be visible when you swipe. And in order to animate those overlays, we need to specify the animate overlay labels opacity. We will animate based on the interpolation of the card position, and we can also change the opacity of the card while swiping by providing a different property called animate card opacity. Now we will also animate the opacity of the card. In order to make this card being an infinite carousel, we need to specify to the swiper a different prop which is infinite. And now whenever the cards will finish, we would reset the counter back to 0, and it's gonna perform the infinite scroll. But in this case, whenever we will set the index, we would also need to do the modulo the data length. So we will also reset our counter. So it's gonna be index +1 modulo the data length. Now I would like to display the title and the price of the card that we are getting from the collection here. I'll be using view styles is button container. Inside this we will use a card details component, and we will pass the index and create the button component. So button container flex of 0.55. We will also need to create the card details. Receive the index, and it's gonna return a view, and inside this view we would like to display the text for the title. So styles heading, value of this is gonna be data by the index and then the title, and we'll also have the price and style.price. Let me rename this to title, and the value is gonna be data index.price. And because I would like to use a custom font here, I'll specify styles.text to both styles. And to the view, we will also pass different styles, card details, text, price, and the title. Card details, we would like to align the items to the center. For the text, I'll use the font family Courier. I'll be using a font size of 24 pixels, margin bottom of 10, and the color is gonna be colors gray. For the price, we'll have the colors blue as a color, font size 32, font weight of 500. And I forgot to wrap those in curly brackets. Let's see the title. Actually, it's the name. So in order to fix this issue, because all the cards are positioned absolute, we don't have any physical height, we need to wrap the swiper into a view and apply this style. So styles swiper container, and it's gonna have a flex of 0.55 and decrease the bottom container here. We would also like to remove the align items to the center, and as you can see, it's the elements are properly aligned here, and the blue background comes from the swiper itself. So in order to remove that, we need to specify the background color to the swiper component to be transparent. We don't want any background effect to be applied to the container. Now for the bottom buttons, I'll be using view. Let me import material, community icons, and vector icons. Create the button. Can close. We'll have a size of 94. Background color transparent. Underlay color transparent. And we'll apply an active opacity of 0.3. Color, it's gonna be colors.red. On press, call an imperative method, and let's say swiperref.current.swipe left. And we need to create this ref here, and we'll have the swiperref. It's gonna be React use ref, and also apply this ref to the swiper. It's create ref, and now we can call directly the method to swipe left, and let me also apply the same to the swipe right. Circle outline, we will pass the colors.blue, and on press we would like to swipe right. And in order to align those properly, let's apply some style to view, wrapper, bottom, buttons, container. We would like to do a flex direction of row, and we would like to justify the content space evenly. So they will be spaced evenly here. We would also like to apply a justify content space evenly to the container of both the card details and the button here. I've noticed that whenever you swipe or call a method to swipe, we will not change the card details, and that's because we have a typo here. Instead of on swiper, it's on swiped. And now we are rendering the proper item detail. To make it animated, we need to import transitioning and transition. And we would need to create the transition config here. So transition sequence, and inside in sequence we would like to transition out. Type is gonna be slide from the bottom, and duration use interpolation is in. We would like to also transition in, and for this time we'll use together. We'll transition the in with a type of fade, duration of animation duration, and then we would also like to apply a delay in milliseconds, and this is gonna be animation duration divided by 2. And we also like to slide bottom, duration is okay, and we also like to apply a delay in milliseconds, animation duration divided by 2, and interpolation is out. This animation, we can go to the card details component and wrap it into a transitioning view. This transitioning view should have a ref transition that we've just created. Save and create the transitioning ref here. And in order to animate these card details should always, we need to force re-render the entire view. And to do that, we need to specify a key that is data index and then the ID. And in order to make this work, inform the transition API that the state is gonna change. So whenever we call the onSwiped method, we will do a transition recurrent that animate next transition. And now we will animate the mounting and unmounting based on the key index. The only thing that's missing is the background of the item, plus we would also like to get rid of the status bar. So let me first import the status bar from React Native, and in the render process here I would like to say hidden, and we would also like to create the diamond on the background. So we will have material icon, name, crop square, size is width of the screen. So to get the width of the screen, we need to import the dimensions, and from dimensions we will get the width. With dimensions get the window. Then the colors blue, and we will have a styles diamond icon. We would like to set the opacity to be, and we would like to apply a different transform, so we will rotate it 45 degrees, and we would also like to scale it. So scale will do 1.6, and the position is gonna be absolute, and we would like to do top 30 pixels transform. And we will also like to apply a left of -15, maybe 20, and decrease the opacity to 0.05. and it's looking as we had in the first place, and the items are properly animated along with the title and the price. I hope that this tutorial was useful for you and you've learned some techniques to create a Tinder-like application in React Native. In our case, it was for chairs, but you can do it for many other types of applications. And we also went through how to use React Native Reanimated Transition API in order to animate the mounting and unmounting of the components, along with accessing some imperative methods that the swiper from React Native Deck Swiper expose, which is pretty useful when creating those kind of buttons. And I'll see you in the next video.